Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Ring of Honor, buddy.
We're going deep in the coffers for this one. I'm excited, though.
Never seen this match. I'm looking forward to it.
If I had not told you who Tyler Black was, would you have any idea?
I would have known.
All right, hey, I'm just making sure, going out there for our fans. I'm sure we got some. We got to make sure they know who we're talking about here.
Now, the bigger question is, do you wish you didn't know who Tyler Black was?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Because Jeff, there are so many more valuable, important things that you could put this knowledge to, but you've chosen professional wrestling.
Well, yeah, why?
I often find myself thinking that, how wealthy could I be if I knew this much about something more useful?
Well, I have a few friends right now. I'm sure you do doing that 75-day hard challenge or whatever it is. Like you've got to work out, read a book, nonfiction, all this other stuff, like no drinking, any of that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I got pay-per-views on the weekend and I got wrestling to watch. I'm not about to nonfiction and not drink on the weekends. There's too much going on. So yeah,
that sounds like when George Costanza stopped having sex and he became brilliant.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I do wonder, Tyler freaking Black, Seth freaking Rollins, they both kind of just roll off the tongue though. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I agree. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yep, absolutely. So, this was one where I was going through, we talk about why we picked these, going through, what matches we have, what's kind of going on. Of course, Seth in the news a little bit recently, just because of that weird post WrestleMania, Raw, where he came out, did his entrance and then left. And so I just saw the other day though, that then there were rumors of he walked out. And so, cause he was so unhappy with that stuff, but also we all know that, I see his name getting floated around a little bit too for who should actually dethrone Roman, which I would be okay with that. And, he's not happy necessarily with his placement on the cards and kind of what's happening, which I get that. Because I think the guy they've always told this story of the boy from Iowa and things like that. And so I really wanted to go back to some of these earlier stuff and see what was out there. And so, of course, with the resurgence of Ring of Honor, it's a little bit easier to find right now. But then also, as trying to find matches like him and Danielson have had a couple matches back in this time that were phenomenal. And so this was actually a rematch, but we'll talk about that, in the build, but why not cover this? It's just one of those weird kind of oddity ones that I hope other people kind of check out. And I'm excited. I haven't seen it. I know you haven't, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And, it's interesting. I had not thought about Seth ending Roman's reign.
Mm-hmm.
I could get behind it.
Yeah.
Just because, if you say, hey, to make him the guy, because he's a superstar, don't get me wrong. But whatever that next level is, God, you might be able to get him there. It's just a ridiculous baby face. Again, I still hold out hope on Cody, but the Seth thing, God, there's a 10-year story to tell there.
Yeah, I think that they really they really just missed I think if you were going to do it with Cody, Mania was the time to do it. I do think they've missed the boat on that. I get they want to tell the story. I'm logical enough to understand that. But if you got to pick somebody else, him and Seth could have a nice little program where he beats him. And I think that, and then, we can talk about it during the match, but yeah.
All right, let's get into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
So, aside from the Ring of Honor we've watched on here, I just have never seen any of it. So any Ring of Honor match we cover is going to be the first match I've ever seen, or one of the first matches. So 2008, Ring of Honor Southern Navigation. I mean, they're in Virginia. I guess it's kind of the South.
Right. Yeah. Capital of the South, as they remind me when I visit there. Yeah, whatever.
And no disrespect to Ring of Honor. I mean, I've heard they've done incredible stuff. I mean, gosh, look at the stars that have come out of there. I just never watched it. So and in 2008, it wasn't like it was easy stuff to find. It might have been like pay-per-views or I don't even know, whatever. So this is in Manassas, Virginia at the Sports Network and Fitness Center.
I do want to point out, I looked it up. I know you're curious. And so it is since closed, but it is pretty much like one of those like warehouse. It's like, it's got the gym in it. Like there is, like the town fitness center that's nothing special. Like it's closed actually back in 2020. But yeah, it is whatever you're thinking of the venue, think less of it, because even I was curious what the Sports Network and it's actually not. I put Sports Network and Fitness Center because I didn't want you to be confused. It's just called Sports Network and Fitness. It's not a center. It's like, it is tiny as hell and unassuming. You would have no clue that a Ring of Honor, that one of the best Ring of Honor matches ever was taking place in this building.
Well, now I'm excited to see what it looks like on TV.
Yeah, it's like seriously. So the dark, just a large gym, like, yeah, that's it. So okay.
May 9th, 2008. Chris Hero's going to defeat Pele Primo.
Yeah. We're going to butcher these, but that's okay.
Brett Titus and Rex Sterling are going to defeat Mitch Franklin and Sean Denny. Brent Albright is going to defeat Claudio Castagnoli, Damian Wayne, and Nigel McGuinness in a four-corner survival match. Austin Aries is going to defeat Eric Stevens. Necro Butcher is going to defeat Jack Evans in a no DQ match. Jimmy Jacobs is going to defeat Jay Briscoe. The match we're covering. And then the main event, Team Noah is going to defeat the No Remorse Corpse of Roderick Strong, Davey Richards, and Rocky Romero. Jeff, let me tell you this. This was 15 years ago. It's kind of crazy how many of these guys are still working. And still working.
And how many are household names? Yeah.
I mean, you just forget, these guys, don't get me wrong. They're making a nice living, but it's like, a lot of these guys, it's like, shit, you're going to end up taking bumps for 20, 25 years, not probably have made enough money to never work again the rest of your life. It's great that you were on TV and you'll go to some conventions, but there's also, no offense, but there's not a massive line building up at conventions behind some of these guys, which to me, Jeff, makes it all the more important that these guys build some kind of income and brand outside of wrestling. Give you an example. Matt Cardona will be able to make money when he can no longer take bumps.
Yep.
So, I don't know why you wouldn't have a podcast and try to do something else outside of just working matches. And I think that's important. I think, you see the people on Twitch and the OnlyFans and I sent you one that Ric Flair's on that never heard of before, but figure out a way to monetize, your brand while you can. Because, you don't want to create this stuff after the fact. Do it while you're still in the game. Anyways, my thoughts.
Well, even I know, I have kind of, very minimal knowledge of it, but even I know Matt Cardona and his toy business or toy collecting, dude's obsessed. And so, but he makes that he has that ability. It's kind of like Xavier Woods and the up, up, down, down. he'll make hand over fist money with that, even when he can't wrestle. Yeah,
absolutely. Like, and I know not everyone can come up with like a toy brand or whatever, but like, dude, figure out like some way, even if it's just a podcast, because and by keeping your name out there, and this is why, you wonder, well, why do some of these guys do podcast interviews, or why do some of these guys do talking heads for Dark Side of the Ring? The reason is because they want to be visible so that people come up and take a picture with them at the conventions. So that's right. Why you want to keep your name out there. It makes a difference. It's why you're also not accessible to fans. Because, like, you want to be recognized. Again, if you're in WWE right now and you're Rhea Ripley and you're going to make $1 million or more this year, yeah, fuck the fans. I get it, right? But, like, I mean, right? But for a lot of them, like, hey, that couple grand at a convention, 10 times a year, that might be your income after you're done wrestling. So, keeping your name out there really does matter, and having that personal brand. You got to be entrepreneurial. And it's a whole different subject, but it's like there's value in being an independent contractor and building up your brand and having that freedom to do so. All right.
Well, all right, we'll get into this. Yes. All right. Let's talk about it. We'll start, of course, with, and there's actually not a lot at this point, with Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, and so I'll call him both, but he's going by the name of Tyler Black.
Was he newer at this point?
So he actually, and so this match taking place, it would have been May 2008, but he actually made his debut. It was with Jimmy Jacobs and Necro Butcher. It was September 15th, 2007, with them attacking the Briscoe brothers, of course. And so they actually had a stable calling themselves the Age of the Fall, the three of them. And so, yeah, good name. And so they actually had a match previously. So these guys at a show called Breakout. It was at the early 2008. And so this ends up being a rematch, and that actually plays into this match. But, so Tyler Black, Seth Rollins didn't do, at this point, not necessarily, I say not a household name by any stretch of the imagination, but also like really kind of finding himself with this stable in Ring of Honor. Now, Danielson, on the flip side, though, had been around. It was actually coming back from injury and mid 2007, kind of won a couple different matches. Adam Pearce, actually one of the, wrestling when he back in Ring of Honor, had this. And so it was actually May 12th, Ring of Honor filmed its first pay-per-view. It was Respect is Earned. And you had Danielson teaming with the champion, with the Ring of Honor world champion, Takeshi Morishima, against Nigel McGuinness and Kenta. And so, taking that one, the two of them actually winning, Danielson, after he made Kenta tap out to his submission, the cattle mutilation, as we all know. And so he actually had a few matches with Nigel McGuinness throughout 2007 as well, too. He actually challenged the champion Morishima as well, too. So, like, just a lot of different stuff. Danielson was at the top of the card at this point. And so, and Seth, kind of finding himself, like I said. So it was Ring of Honor Breakout. It was January 25th, 2008. It was actually the first match between these two. It was a 23-minute match with Danielson winning. Some of the write-ups here, I was curious, so I kind of went back and looked. This was Black had his breakout match against Danielson at the appropriately titled Breakout. Tyler took the American Dragon to the limit in a classic match at Breakout. In the end, Danielson just escaped breaking out his perfect small package pin to take the win. Tyler is convinced he has what it takes to defeat him this time. And so 4 or 5 months prior to this, they had the match. They're having the rematch now, which is this match at Southern Navigation. And so like I said, the young upstart. It's weird. Feels weird to say that of Tyler Black. Seth Rollins kind of thinking that he can beat the veteran, which to me, that I like that storyline. I think it's cool. But yeah, that's just how we get this one. Nice little build. They had a match. It's a rematch, and that's what we're going with.
Love it, dude. I'm pumped to cover this one.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely.
So YouTube link, you'll share it on social media, but it's the Ring of Honor channel on YouTube.
No, yep. Streaming it for real. This one. Yep.
Full match in all caps, exclamation mark. Are you ready?
Let's do this. Yeah.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
Ooh, that's a chant for you.
Referee Paul Turner calls for the opening bell. Our next singles match between the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Tyler Black of the Age of the Fall.
Some of the fans here predicting what is going to happen to the head of Tyler Black, who is a house of fire right from the get-go here. Fired away on Bryan Danielson. This a rematch from the breakout event in Dayton.
They both look great.
They both look young.
I mean,
great.
They look, but nothing about these two to me. And again, I will say, little bit of a different era because again, we're still kind of a lot of big guys, indie wrestling. But man, you look at the two of these guys like in the lens of 2023.
Yeah,
it's like, man, they both look like stars. I mean, there's nothing about. I mean, maybe Tyler Black's a little lanky here. Bryan obviously a little small and young looking, but dude, these guys both look like they're ready for prime time.
I was going to say, I don't know if you see it too, but especially from the Black, I feel like a young Tyler Black, Seth Rollins looks like a young CM Punk.
Dude, I was just thinking the exact same thing.
It's funny because I'm gonna say Seth for the rest of this one just to make it easy, but I feel like Seth, he's small compared to what we know him to be in 2023. Of course, we know how that WWE workout plan works, but he looks like a CM Punk. He looks almost identical to CM Punk. And some of these camera shots, with his hair falling, he does look like him. It's crazy.
Yeah. The side profile, it's crazy. Which name do you prefer, Tyler Black or Seth Rollins?
I think they're both really good. I wish that he had stuck with Tyler Black now that we see that. I also think though that Seth Rollins is a good name. I think he got lucky. Every once in a while you get someone that gets the bad name. I say Seth freaking Rollins too. It was funny because SummerSlam is in my hometown of Detroit, and so where I am in Indiana, I am getting radio ads for SummerSlam tickets.
Oh, really?
And they're talking about come see the superstars of WWE: Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, and Seth freaking Rollins. It's okay, that. Sure. And so that it's just so associated with him. It's almost comical to me. And so, but I think that he has had a good evolution of who he is. I do think they have him in limbo a little bit right now. I wish they could figure out exactly what they want to do with him, whether it's taking on Roman or whatever it is. But yeah, so, we were talking about the setup here. So they've got a little tiny scaffolding in the back here. It doesn't look like much lighting at all. Just kind of a flag that says ROH on it. You can see a little bit. It looks like they did put up curtains around the back of I say the center. But it's still, you can see it's one of those tin roofs as well too. If it rained too hard, you wouldn't be able to hear yourself. And so there you go, Seth with the flip here. Kind of, I say, dominating early. Danielson getting some offense in, but yeah, kind of looking good though.
Yeah, they both look really good. Yeah, it's interesting. Brock is advertised for SummerSlam. I mean, I guess they lined him up with another whatever they do year to year now, or maybe just through SummerSlam. But I mean, gosh, what do you think? They might have got him for another, six matches or something throughout the year.
It's got to be like it could be a handshake deal too. Like, it could have been like, hey, he's just making that Saudi money. Like, that's just all it is. He's just doing that as well. So who knows? But
I wonder how they structure his contract. I mean, my guess is it's per match, and then every match comes with like 2 TV appearances prior or something like that. I mean, it's kind of a predictable cadence at this point, right? Like maybe like 2 or 3. Hey, you're going to do a match, and we're going to give you, you're going to show up twice prior, 3 times prior. I mean, he's probably, gosh, I got to think that per match, per program, I mean, he's got to be at least $500,000 each, I'd say. I'd say for some of the big shows, $1 million. Yeah. I mean, the WrestleMania, the Saudi show. I mean, I got to think those might be $1 million.
Well, and I wonder, like, I get like a lot of the wrestlers, like, they're supposed to be backstage, ready to go, like gear. I know we heard the rumors recently when Vince kind of, wrecked, or rumored to have wrecked the Raw after Mania, like almost didn't have a match. He didn't have his gear, and then had to like get out to the ring and so all this other stuff. But Brock's not hanging out in catering or anything like that. Like he's not kind of walking around backstage catching. Like, I sent you that wild photo that I had never seen before of like, it was like 20 different locations and then arrows pointing backstage, like where people had to go and stuff like that, which was just wild to me. And so, because I'd never seen that photo, but it makes total sense as well too. But like, dude, are they calling Brock up, at noon on Monday and being like, hey, get on the plane, it's at the tarmac, like, we need you here? Like, I just don't see that happening. And while we hear about that, like, or maybe he's kept secret, like, I just don't see scenarios where they're calling Brock last minute and having him show up. I don't believe that. Like, I'm with you.
Oh,
like,
no, I don't either.
Brock knows when he's coming, when he's not. Like, if he's in the tree stand, that afternoon, he's not gonna, he's just not gonna fly into,
and that's going to piss him off, so you're not going to ask him to do it.
Well, and I wonder how much pull Vince has to do that versus Triple H had, because I feel like if Vince called the Undertaker, he'd be on a plane.
Yeah, I've wondered that specifically with Brock. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Vince is still the one to interface with him.
Yeah.
I mean, if Vince asked Taker to work the main event at SummerSlam, he'd be in the ring next week. Okay, right. He'd be. Yep. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yep, I agree.
And you say what you want about Vince. That's strong leadership. Okay, and there are a lot of people that would run through a fucking wall for the guy. And and you look at some of the cracks in AEW. It's because there's a lack of leadership. Okay. And again, Tony Khan, I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy and he gives out all these hugs, and that's great. But the reality is that, you've got 50, 75 independent contractors, different ages, different personalities, different income levels. Most have tremendous egos. You got to manage them. So, yes, there's different types of leadership styles that will work, but man, you gotta make sure that you're able to lead those people. And so, Vince McMahon's mean. Okay, well, you see what happened when somebody's not mean. Okay, when someone's not mean,
yep.
A big brawl breaks out backstage. I'll tell you another thing that if I was Tony Khan, I'd be furious about is all these people that either leak stuff to the dirt sheets or just straight up say, hey, I'm not happy. Hey, here's when my contract's up. Hey, I don't like that I'm not being used. Do you see that happening out of WWE right now? Rarely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Sasha walked out. Yes, this stuff happens. I get it. Okay. They're also 3 times the size of AEW. Okay. Like, things are going to happen. Yes, Brett and Sean got into a fight backstage. Okay. I get it. But there's a lot of stuff leaking and happening out of AEW that should not be.
Yep.
Okay. And that's because nobody is intimidated by Tony Khan.
Well, and who's your 2, 3, 4s? It's Omega and the Bucks. Like, I get like JR does some behind the scenes stuff. I get Tony does some behind the scenes stuff, but also like, you know, and you know, if someone quits WWE a lot, they are quick to hire some of those backstage people as well too. But it's just, yeah, it doesn't necessarily sit right because it's, you know, it's like the Jerry Jones theory. Like, it all starts at the top too.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You know, like same thing. Yeah. So
how many playoff games has Dallas won in the last, 20 years or 18 years, whatever it's been since they, I mean, like one or
fire your coach so many times. Yeah.
Yeah. And this EVP thing with the young, I mean, it's just a horrible dynamic. You're active performers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're active performers. Therefore, maybe you guys shouldn't also be, the 2, 3, and 4 in the office.
What's your timestamp here? I keep getting an ad every once in a while here.
I am not getting any ads. I'm at 10:07.
All right. So I'm about 10 seconds behind you. No big deal. Okay. Yeah. So this has been a nice, it started off hot with Black, got a lot of offense, but now we're kind of a lot of submissions, stuff like that. Danielson trying to slowly kind of work through that, which is good, but also real stiff as well too. A big uppercut from Danielson.
What's your stance on the Seth's entrance music? I say this because I feel like they're kind of beating this thing to death a little bit. Like, let it happen organically. If people want to sing to Jericho's song, let them sing. You don't need to overplay it. I just feel like it's like, all right, like let's let the fans just. I get WrestleMania, we have the big spectacle for it, but it's like just let it happen organically. Because if you cheer it on too much, then it becomes forced, and then it's like fans don't want to be told what to do. They just want to feel like it's their own decision to do it.
I find it really interesting because if we're to believe what Seth has said that Vince is the one that came up with the freaking, that his theme needed something else, came up with the burn it down in the theme because it needed something else to kind of pop with that. And so I think to me, it's interesting because we've had other times where Vince, doesn't want certain things to happen organically. So the best example I have is the 2 the quick count or after a 2 count, everybody else 2 or 1 fall is my favorite too. And they used to do the just a quick 2 seconds to let the fans shout 1 fall after they were announcing the match and stuff like that. But then you get something like this where they do kind of lean into it a little bit more. And I think it's so case by case with certain wrestlers. I think it works for Seth. Just because part of the persona and who he is, like that, his character, it works. On the flip side, I'm struggling to think there are some others that they just don't want that organic kind of reaction to them, which is weird. And so I think of someone I saw, it was a meme the other day or something on Reddit that said top champions that immediately cooled off after they won the belt. And one was Liv Morgan. They gave her the belt and then she immediately cooled off. Now, whether that was booking or just kind of what happened, and I get she, won the tag titles recently and stuff like that. But I think it's so much you got to be a performer that can live up to it too. And I think Seth is one that it works so well with his character, great. But so I'm a fan. That's my short answer. But I do think it very much depends on how much work the wrestler is putting into it too.
Agreed.
We got flips outside here. That looks like just a straight plywood floor with some gym mats laid on it. That's got to be rough as hell when you're hitting it.
So Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, 1 5-star match. What was it?
This?
Hell in a Cell.
Or no. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant Tyler Black. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say he had a 5-star match, Ring of Honor. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So that's it. That's the only 5-star match. And then we have 4 different 4 3/4 star matches.
I'm surprised.
Hell in a Cell against Edge.
Yep.
That triple threat from Royal Rumble that was Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins. that was off the charts good.
Yep.
Money in the Bank, there was one that was actually only in 2021. That was Big E, Drew, John Morrison, KO, Nakamura, Ricochet, and Riddle.
Yep.
Okay. And then one ROH match that was 4 3/4 stars, and that was him versus Davey Richards.
Got it. Yep.
And this was, well, not to jump ahead, but this was 4.5. And then he has he has a ton of 4.5 star matches, like 20 of them.
So Black kind of dominating at this point too, but Danielson, nice little move there.
Oh,
that looked painful. Yeah, that looked unintentional. So that was, Danielson pushed. Oh, Jesus. Danielson pushed Rollins over the top rope and then just did a suicide dive. I don't even think he hit Black. He pretty much went right into the crowd.
Yeah.
Like Danielson with a second win after that burst of adrenaline.
ROH chant.
Have you been to not necessarily a Ring of Honor show, but some of these gym type shows before? Have you done some of these in the past?
Never. The only thing I've ever, I went to a couple ECW house shows.
Yep.
I
know we've done NXT in small venues.
We went to NXT. I went to a WWECW house show. Whenever they brought it back, it was absolutely horrible. Yeah. So, but no, I like a true indie event. No. And I'll tell you, in Phoenix where I live, I follow them on Instagram. There's some they do cool promo. They do one does them at a brewery. It's kind of cool. I got 2 young kids, so it's tough. But I would like to, I feel like you and I would have fun at one of these shows. I went to a indie show. God, I don't even remember the promotion at a WrestleMania weekend one time.
Mm-hmm.
Some random guy I was with wanted to go. It was 45 minutes away. We had to drive in the rain. We got there, beat the shit out of each other in the main event. It was crazy. And then I think we had to go to the Hall of Fame after that. It was a long day. Yeah. So
it was fun. I was looking because I've done in Dearborn, Michigan. I've went to it was a Ring of Honor New Japan War of Worlds show, and it was a venue like this where maybe 500 people. It was actually probably even smaller in a gym. It was a straight up gym with the basketball nets swung up so you weren't going to hit anybody. It was one of those type setups. But I was looking through the pictures not too long ago, and it was weird because I went to that show. It was back in 2017, and I was looking through the photos, and it's got the main event was you had the Bucks, Hangman, who wasn't Hangman at the time, but Adam and Cody. And they were taking on Will Ospreay and a couple other New Japan stars. But it's weird, looking back on that, being man, I saw those guys in 2017 in a gym, and before AEW was a thing, just kind of crazy seeing, and shaking hands and meeting some of these guys too. Beforehand, my brother and I paid for some of the autographs because they're when are we going to get, when are we ever going to get the opportunity to meet some of these New Japan guys ever again? But you got to wonder, how many people have, that's just what they do. I remember Christopher Daniels was working the merchandise table. It's just that's the kind of stuff they do to support what they do to be that we talked about. Was it last week, that entrepreneurial kind of spirit of it all, because they have to in order to sell it. And so, just crazy to think that's what came from that show. Some of those guys that came from that, and obviously we know where Danielson and in 2008 and Tyler, but we didn't know where they would have ended up. But man, it's crazy to think where they are now and kind of some of the stuff they've been through. So, they've kind of slowed the match down a little bit here. There was a lot of submissions there for a while, but now they're just kind of working stiff here. They're up on the top rope here. kind of rake in the face. Yeah, just Black has been kind of, I say, not dominating, but been doing a good job here. What's he going for up on the top rope? Nope, didn't hit it. But yeah, but good match so far.
How much of this stuff he's still doing.
Yeah, right. You see it. Yep. Fans getting loud. Yep.
Still controlling the arms of Tyler Black. Putting him in position. Elbow! And again!
Damn.
Repeated elbows from Danielson!
Oh.
Tyler trying to fight it off. He's back to his feet and drives Dragon into the corner.
Series of elbows from Black, frees himself, hits the ropes. Forearm from Danielson. Went for that leaping kick again, but Danielson blocked it. It gets the heel hook.
Great little reversal there. Yep.
Trying to get to the ropes here. But Danielson still with control of the leg of Tyler Black. Kicks to the side of the head. But he just grabs the other leg. He's got it once again, and Tyler is forced to tap.
There you go.
Okay. Quick finish, but all right.
Kind of a weird finish.
Yeah, it was very quick. That's all right.
All right, let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
Well,
I enjoyed it. I'm not hesitating. It's funny because, like, you said it, like, you see some of the flashes of what they would become. And I think that's really cool. Like, you know, they weren't a fully developed character by any means. Like, they were still trying to figure out, like, you know, maybe Danielson more than Black, but I think it was just one of the, like, we did see Seth, like, with the roll through off the top and things like that. Like, so it's very cool to me to see that stuff and how it played out, because it just, like, it works, like, you know, and knowing where they came from. It was just really cool to me to see. Was it a, you know, 5-star? No, but was it a good match? Yeah. And it's just kind of seeing the origins of that, who they are, was really cool to me. How about you?
Yeah, yes, I liked it for that reason. I thought the ending was kind of weird, but yeah, it was fun to watch it. Glad we did. We didn't. Gosh, we just, time flies by. There is some, like, ROH stuff I want to talk about. I had just did a little digging into, like, the origins of ROH, some of which I remembered, some of which I didn't. But yeah, next time we cover an ROH match, we'll dig into some of that stuff. So reviews, what did you see, and then let's give our payoff score.
Well, aftermath real quick on this one too. We've got, you know, really just Black kind of growing in this one, you know, some different things here. Not winning the title, but, you know, different matches with Claudio, Jimmy Jacobs, stuff like that. And then Danielson, of course, he actually wrestled with Pro Wrestling Noah. There was some stuff over in Japan as well too. It was actually September 26, 2009. Glory for Honor 8, the final countdown. It was him and Nigel McGuinness in both of their last matches. I wonder where Danielson went after this. We'll just have to wait and find out. But PWI, Danielson was 13 in 2008 and Black was 88. The Torch and the Observer didn't have reviews there. They just weren't reviewing this stuff. But some of the things I did find was another quality match between these two, very different from their first match, obviously because Tyler isn't the same wrestler when they first squared off, but a worthy successor to the breakout match. Another superb match between these two. Wonderful storytelling again, as Tyler tried to use his experiences of wrestling Danielson at breakout to his advantage, knowing he needed to work at a fast tempo and try to keep on his feet and out of the way of Danielson's mat game. So I'm right at a 7. You know, the match it was a very quick ending. It didn't, you know, but whatever, it was fine. But overall, the match itself was very good, I thought. And I just thought this was cool. Like, you know, this is one of those where I would recommend people go see this, just because it's such a weird kind of microcosm of what we would eventually get. So yeah.
I got this as 6.5. Again, It was fun, enjoyed it, good seeing them. Match was, good. It was a really good 20 minutes.
It was, yeah.
Just the ending did nothing for me. I'm okay with submission endings, but it was just kind of a weird.
It was fast.
Yep. Didn't do anything for me. So that's it. Another fun episode. Let's get some more Ring of Honor on the schedule. I'd like to cover a couple more matches.
For sure.
But yeah, this was fun. And as always, we'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.